Basically what MotoArt does is we preserve aviation history by finding these rare airframes and making them into functional art. So we take old wings and engine cowlings and we make desks and couches and coffee tables and give them a second life. 20 years ago, my business partner and I were doing high-end themed signage for like Disneyland, Universal Studios. And one day the scrap aluminum guy came by our yard and he had an old beat-up World War II propeller. And I didn't think anything of it. And my partner Donovan goes, well, that's history, you can't get rid of that. And they were gonna smelt it down for the aluminum. So he rescued it and he sat in his shop and sanded and polished it. And all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I got it. It was beautiful. Aluminum, when you sand and polish it, turns into a mirror finish. So I agreed to do a show, and this is back in 2001, where we called ourselves Propeller Art. And all we had were, both Dom and I went and made a bunch of these propellers, and we went to the Barrett-Jackson show in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we sold every single one of them for $8,000 to $10,000. And boom, that's how the company started. MotoArt has about 150 different product lines. We've always tried to introduce a new product every month to kind of keep it new and exciting. What you see and what's available to almost all of us is commercial aviation. It's the stuff that we fly on every day. The FAA only allows it to have so many cycles of a life before they're deemed unairworthy. And what they do, they go to recycle companies, and the recycle companies will take off the jet engines, they'll take off the landing gear, anything they can resell back to the airlines, they do. When we get to the aircraft, they're typically just aluminum tubes, and we'll take off the stabilizers, the engine cowlings. But MotoArt in a whole isn't just about commercial aviation. That's the easy stuff. Early aviation history, aircraft is what we like to find. In that kind of stuff, we're literally finding high and low. I mean, we're going to Canada, we're going to Alaska, we're going to Florida, we're going to even to Thailand to find parts. Really who we cater to are private collectors. We have clients who basically collect almost everything that we do. But we also cater to large corporations, where we're basically decorating corporate offices, where we get the conference table, the reception desk, the CEO's desk. We basically are creating a theme for these offices. I think the favorite piece I have is one that actually made Ripley's Believe It or Not this year, and that is the 747 cowling conference table. It's made out of a GE Boeing 747 engine nacelle cowling, and we put a big stator in the center of it and make it glow like actually it's on. And then we have big pie-shaped glass that goes around it, so it's basically a 12-foot diameter conference table. We introduced it a couple years ago. We probably sold about 8 of them so far. It's not cheap. I mean, everything we have is expensive because there's so much time that goes into it. Desks start about $7,000 and up. Coffee tables about $3,000 up. Conference tables about $15,000 and up. Typically, we quote anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. There's times where we're quoting 16 to 18 weeks because of the workload. We can only make so much of it based on the time it takes. You know, we just don't do shortcuts.